Welcome to the SEO KPI report. In order to find the SEO KPI report, you would enter into one of your projects and then navigate from SEO on the left-hand navigation down to SEO KPI report. Now, KPI, which stands for Key Performance Indicator, should represent data points in SEO that would be used to track performance. So the KPI dashboard really you could look at as a consulting tool for you to either dive into a campaign for analysis on your own based on KPIs, or for you to be able to go over performance and progress with the client in a really well presented dashboard. So this should be a really valuable consulting tool for you that you won't find very many places in the entire world in any dashboard. And this should add a lot of value to you on top of any SEO campaign, because this is available to you. And keep in mind, this can be made available to the client as well inside of their dashboard. When you first land on the KPI SEO report, it's going to show you data for all-time history in the campaign. So the total Google and Bing keywords on page 1 for the history, incoming links, information content, guest blogs published, organic traffic, total incoming links, and more that you can read through. What it also does is it breaks down some of the Google Analytics for total page views and the total amount of traffic. The link acquisition data presented by Moz and Ahrefs, so that you have total backlink data. Total impressions being pulled out of Google Search Consoles. If you are tracking leads by form tracking or call tracking, it would present total phone calls or leads that came through a form, which is great data to be able to go over with a client. Maybe you're 9 months into a campaign and your client really wants to know what has been done. And in that particular circumstance, I would recommend that you would bring them into the SEO total link acquisition report and, of course, the KPI report on the overview, because this is going to tell you the total data from the beginning of the campaign, which would include the total amount of calls and leads that have been tracked through that form. So if you're really wanting to show value, of course, clients are going to want to know about lead data. Local visibility score, total, and reviews in total. And then it's going to break down from there and get into keywords. At the bottom, you'd have a bird's eye view on total link acquisitions and as well as project management data. If your campaign happened to be running some social media along with it, it would have a breakdown from Twitter to Facebook and PPC data as well if you're also running PPC from AdWords and Bing ads. So for a KPI report overview for total data throughout the whole campaign, this is where you would go. Now, the real magic to the KPI report, in my opinion, is not just the overview. It's the ability to compare progress, whether over 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, or even 3 months. And of course, you could also choose your own custom date range to compare to if you wanted to compare data KPIs from the beginning of the campaign to the current date of the campaign. So let's just crack open and show you what this would look like if you compared 1 week's worth of data. And again, I can't stress to you enough what an important consulting tool this is. And clearly, if you're having monthly meetings to check in with your client, this might be something you want to look into ahead of time to see if you want to go over this with them. If it's the type of client that would appreciate this type of reporting to go over, because really this is going to show them the progress that has been made. So if we look at this over the last week, we can look at page views and total traffic. So and the current week is this lighter purple and the previous is green. So you can see on the current week, clearly they're trending much higher on page views and total traffic. They're also trending much higher. Great report to go over with a client to show positive momentum. And it will also give you a very obvious metric to show you KPI performance based on change up arrow for positive and the amount of data that has been changed in the positive direction. On a KPI legend, it would compare for you different KPI values that have changed over the last week. Now, this is a demo report, so it's not completely populated. On link acquisitions, the same thing. previous data and current data, and it's going to let you know the amount of change that's there. Scrolling on down, if you wanted to look at total impressions versus total clicks in Google and look at the percent change, also a great report to go over. And then, yeah, on the keyword rankings, whether it's Google or Bing/Yahoo, if you wanted to compare different date ranges on those keyword rankings, the KPI report is where you would go to for that. Diving down further, if you're running Twitter or Facebook additional campaigns, that's either part of the SEO campaign or on the side, it's going to show data on that and any percent change for the KPI. And then if you have Google ads running, it'll also show you KPI changes on your Google ads and Bing ads. So if you didn't have this KPI report and you had to take reporting from Google AdWords and Bing ads and Twitter and Facebook and keyword rankings, as well as your different analytics and Google Search Console data, and compare them side by side to create a comparative report on where you were at 1 week ago or up to 3 months ago or custom date range to now, to show the client what kind of performance has been had, it would take you a tremendous amount of time and effort to do that once, let alone on a reoccurring basis. The SEO KPI report accomplishes this for you in the click of a button. And you can PDF this report out to have a nice pretty version to send to the client or go over it with them in a consultation. I would recommend that you would go over this with them in a consultation and, of course, look at it ahead of time and make sure that you digest it and make sure it's something that you want to go over with them, as there could be trends up and down in SEO. So hopefully you get acclimated to the SEO KPI report and get used to taking a look at it and analyzing it, because it's an extremely valuable tool for you, but also for client consultations. And it's even something, if you wanted to build in to your SEO services, a monthly consultation that came along with your services that was a premium consulting service that maybe they even paid a bit more to receive, you could base that entire monthly consultation on this SEO KPI report. So hopefully you enjoy the reporting, and let us know if you have any questions.